Yeah, and say officially hello to everyone for the second cohort call of the first cohort of Open Hardware Makers. We are now on week 3, and we are staging your project. Juli, do you want to take it away?
Yes, thank you, Andre. And I am just spamming you guys in the chat with the link to the notes today because we try to make them as interactive as possible. So as Andre was mentioning, we are in week 3 of Open Hardware Makers. Welcome all back. And there are a couple of announcements. As we said, this call is being recorded. If you don't want to appear on camera, that's perfectly fine. You can turn off your camera for the main room, but we recommend you to turn on the camera for the breakout rooms, which are not recorded. This will be in the YouTube channel, and of course, all interactions must respect the OHM community guidelines. If you're not familiar with them, you can find them in our website. If you see that anything is not compliant with these guidelines, either for you or for someone else, you can always write to us at openhardwaremakers@gmail.com. So next slide. As usual, we're going to start with the icebreaker exercise, which we are going to use also as kind of an informal introduction. So please go to the notes. You have the link in the chat. Can someone paste it again just for Andrew, who just rejoined, and I think he cannot see the link. So you have to go to the introduce yourself section. Sorry, Andre, I'm asking you to do things that get the presentation out of the way. Sorry for that. But if you go to the introduce yourself section of the notes, you can look for the icebreaker question and just very quickly add your name, your project, your social media handle if you want to share that, and a very simple question: what you had for breakfast today. We have people joining from everywhere, honestly, so we are very curious about what you eat this morning. Meanwhile, let's move to the next slide. Sorry for that.
Is this the correct one?
Yep, we are exactly in the good slide. So just as a kind of map, we are now in week 3. This may be a little confusing, but you have 7 modules in the curriculum. We are in the second week of module 2. Okay, so we take 2 weeks from now on to work on every module of the curriculum. The first week, you will have your mentor meeting. The second week, you will have your cohort meeting. We will be revisiting the concepts of the module, and especially during these calls, focusing on the exercises. We want you to kind of do an informal peer review, let's say. Peer review sounds very, very serious, but we want you to exchange lessons on those exercises. Sorry. So next slide. So just as a recap of what we've seen in previous weeks, week 1, which was our first cohort call, we introduced the Open Hardware Canvas, which can be a little, hi, Andrew, I think you're saying hi. It can be a little intimidating at the very beginning, but the idea is that it presents just the building blocks of an open hardware project. And what we want you to do here is to appropriate it and just modify it and turn it into something useful for your project. We also discuss the multiple pathways you can take in open hardware. You can go and build a commercial project. You can build an educational initiative. You can use it for research. You can do so many things according to your needs and your community needs. And also we kind of reviewed what open can do and what it cannot do for your project. How openness doesn't mean you will get access to free labor, how you have to plan contributions, and how openness can help you reach your users in a more meaningful way. So that was week 1. And in the last week, you probably had, or you should have had, your first mentorship meeting. You probably worked on your SMART goals, trying to understand which is the goal that you're trying to achieve during your program participation. And if you looked at the curriculum, you also had some ideas on kind of locating your project in the context of the open hardware community. Are you replicating something that someone else has done? Are you forking? Are you contributing? How are you working your project in relation to the community? And also, a very important thing, how are you going to turn your vision statement, which is one of the main things we're going to work on today, into a useful thing for introducing your project to the world via a README file, via a website, via different ways. So that is week 2. And today we will continue working on this material. We are, as I said there, in staging your project. And what the agenda for today has, which is next slide, is we are going to work on your vision statement. We are really focusing on this and emphasizing the vision statement because it's kind of the core of your project, and it's what you will go back to when you are a bit lost, and you probably be a bit lost after everything you have to work on. We are also discuss briefly your last meeting, your last week meeting with a mentor, right? Because it was quite important. It was the first meeting with your mentor. We previously discussed expectations. Well, how can we discuss now? Is it going towards where you wanted? Is it not? Would you like to do something else? How did you find that? This is not updated. This is from yesterday because we had an invited speaker in yesterday's call, Dr. Cecilia Herbert, who is leading a very interesting open hardware project in science. And we will give you that link unfortunately, she could not attend today. So we thought that passing a video in a Zoom call was a bit like not very interactive. So we will just give you the link to YouTube, and you will be able to follow the project. And also, if you have any questions for Cecilia, you can let us know, and we will send her the questions. So, Andre, if you want to start with the exercises.
Right, always, like I've been using Zoom for the last 2 years and I still cannot find the mute button. So yeah, so we're gonna start today with a little exercise where we want you guys to take a look at the vision statement. You should have worked already maybe a little bit on this on the previous week, but basically what we want you to do is to present your vision statement to each other and get feedback, and also try to make it a super short and concise vision statement, because after the breakout room, you're going to have, I think, what was it, 5 to 8 minutes to do
yeah,
this?
We will have like 60 seconds per person to just
right.
speed out your vision statement.
So it's really like you need to, in 2 sentences, basically tell us what you're doing, who you're working with, and who are you working, like why you're making this or who you're making this for, which are the things that are highlighted in colors here in the phrases. Then we have the sample, right? But the whole point of this exercise is to get feedback from one another and make suggestions and see how it goes for you to present your visual statement. And then you're going to present it back here in the main room so that we can discuss a little bit more. Okay. So sorry, I need a moment to prepare the breakout rooms, which I should have done before.
Two important things. If you didn't have time to work on your vision statement, use this time to do it. This is something you will iterate on a lot, but we think it's a very concise and concrete thing that you can use to understand which is the message you're trying to deliver. And one useful trade, let's say, like one useful way of thinking of the vision statement is thinking in terms of cause and effect. Which is the change that you want to see after your project is out there? So look at the things in colors and try to understand if you can draft just a 1 sentence to tell someone who knows nothing about your project. I don't know if the breakout rooms are ready. Yeah.
Oh, they are.
So you will receive the invitation to join.
Yeah. And now, actually.
Yeah.
And so welcome back, everybody, from your breakout rooms where you discussed your vision statement. We would like to take volunteers now to share your vision statement, and everybody's actually going to get a turn. So just volunteering to be the first one.
And please share your vision statement as well in the doc. Yeah, please here and in the doc. We highlighted that where it should go.
Any takers?
I mean, it's always difficult, but we have already two statements in the doc. So I don't know, maybe Andreas or Lawrence, do you want to share? I think you're muted, Andreas.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, sorry. Yeah, I can start. So, well, we have a first draft at least for our vision statement, and it's like this. We are working with fellow FabLab members on an affordable digital stereo microscope for electronics inspection and soldering that makers can easily build themselves.
So I have to say I like it very much. It for me it completely tells me what it is, what you're working on. What did your you shared the room with Andrew, right? What did he say to your vision statement?
He said he wants to join the project.
So it seems like you did a good job. So, Andrew, you are also muted.
For those people who are not in the breakout room with Andreas, do you get his vision statement? Is it clear? Are there any questions or suggestions you could make for him? Because it was perfectly clear.
You can also leave, you can always leave, as you know, you can always leave comments in the document. You have the Stereo Ninja vision statement here. So if there are any questions, just put them below and mark them as questions.
Yep.
Let's
So who
move
would
on.
like to volunteer next? Or are we gonna volunteer people ourselves?
I'm next on the list, so I'm happy to go next. I cheated a little bit because this is the mission statement from the organization and it's not necessarily specific to the project that we submitted. So the feedback was, well, that I gave myself as well, is that I need to tune this a little bit and make it more project specific. But I thought it would be a good start.
Can you just speak out, like read it out for us?
Oh, sure. We are a Singapore-based nonprofit that empowers inclusivity for disadvantaged and vulnerable communities, such as persons with disabilities and low-income families, through sustainable engineering and technology solutions.
That is a great vision statement for the nonprofit.
Yeah.
I am wondering if, because the I hear is super embedded in that mission, right? So I was wondering if maybe after we all share, you want to think a little of what the project users are in this particular case, and think of like going from the nonprofit to the I hear particular project. It would be great to see that difference between the organization and the activity that you are doing.
Absolutely, I need to narrow it down.
That takes time. But that's a great example for anyone looking for statements for organizations too.
Are there any comments from others? Feedback?
Maybe one feedback that I didn't have the time to share with Lawrence when we were discussing together. It would maybe be interesting in your statement to just say that it's a hardware device that does speech to text implementation, that people understand a bit more what they can expect out of this device.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. And if I remember well, I don't know, maybe I don't remember. You have a very specific user in mind, right? Like people who have difficulties reading, or so that would also help to, if I don't know anything about your project, it would really connect me quickly with why you're doing it.
Yeah, I think I have some good ideas. Thank you.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I'm happy to go next time. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Can I ask you, Eglantine, would you be able to paste while Aude reads her statement? Would you be able to paste yours in the notes so we don't lose it? I don't know if you have the access to the notes.
Yes, I have the notes. I can. Yeah, I can do it. I'll do it.
Thank you. And then we go to that.
Okay.
Thank you. So go ahead.
Okay, so my statement is a little bit long, but I will read it. So the Shazam for Bats and Birds, our device is aimed at ecologists and nature lover communities. The project aims to facilitate the adoption of technology to monitor the calls of birds and bats and to identify it, and so to learn about the species populated in area. We provide easy to follow documentation to build and install the device and to visualize the real-time bird and bat call. And it's aimed in the longer term at policymaking to help adapt the environment and conservation area.
That's a lot of information, but it's super useful. No, because this is usually what happens to us when we want to share what we do, right? We have and this and this and this and this and all these angles. I don't know if anyone wants to make any comment. I think you have all the information you need there, and maybe you can iterate it to kind of condense it a bit more, because you have your users who are the ecologists and nature lover communities. You have the core activity, which is monitor the calls of birds and bats. And you have what for, which is learning for conservation and learning for policymaking. So I think those three kind of really condense the project. I don't know what others think.
So
yeah, no, that's a good.
So I completely agree to what Juli says. You can further concentrate it on into the basically the one sentence. But it,
yeah. Sorry, I was going to say, right, I think it's also a good time to point that you can always also change mission statements depending on who you're talking to, right? And so having this long one is as good as a stock mission statement, and then you say, oh, I'm going to talk to scientists, then like you tweak it for that, or I'm going to talk to the general public, and then you tweak it for that, right? Because maybe the general public doesn't know that different areas have very specific species of birds and bats. And so just knowing that you're recording them is already like enough information at that moment, right? Things like that. Yeah.
That is great, because what we are going to do with this vision statement is use it as an input for all your communication materials later, because it will give you the opportunity to be coherent. I don't know if it happened to you that many times projects are, the website says one thing and the documentation says another thing and social media says another thing, but if you have a clear vision statement, then you can tweak it and still be coherent. But that's a great statement to start, so congrats.
Okay, so who's next?
I think Eglantine was next.
Yes, hi everyone. So we are working with the neuroscientist teacher to build a system that can mimic neuronal behaviors. So it's a Arduino microcontroller, so that students can learn complex knowledge in a fun way. And it's also a way to introduce them to electronics, which is really useful in the neurosciences field. So yeah, that's the vision statement.
does anybody want to comment on that? So for myself, I really like it. It's short, it's crisp, it transports what you need to know. And I think this sounds like a great project.
Thank you.
Does
Maybe
anyone
one
have
comment.
other? Yeah.
So you while reading it out, you added the word microcontroller.
Yes.
And I think you should put that in the written text as well, because I think from a technical view, it makes it much more clear what it's about.
Yes, you're right.
I'm hearing Arduino. I'm so much interested in that program because I have zero knowledge on Arduino. So I want to learn coding using it. I've just bought a new Arduino and I'm looking for an instructor to take me through.
Okay, I don't know how to use an Arduino microcontroller neither, but I'm discovering it, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and there are, maybe what we can do, Andrew, is we can connect you with some resources we have for learning. and you start reading that, and if you need help, we can connect you with some people.
Yeah, it would be
Louvren,
great.
is that how you pronounce your name? Louvren? Is that how do you pronounce your name? Sorry.
My name?
No, Louvren.
I'm Lawrence.
Lawrence. Sorry. So he wrote on the chat that he can help with Arduino. So that's what I wanted to point out. So maybe you guys should start chatting after the call. Yeah. On the Gosh forum via direct messages or email.
That's a
Help each
great
other
idea.
out.
Yeah,
Happy
thank
to-
you for the tip.
The forum is a good place for that.
Okay, and
Cool. Thank you very much.
On Eglinton, I think it's I may make a comment here that I don't know. I want your feedback on it. I understand that for hardware people, the technical is very important. And Andreas was mentioning put back the microcontroller, right, on the statement. But if I read out the statement now, and I don't know now anything about the project, I truly understand what it's about. I get the idea. So maybe be careful with that, because the statement doesn't necessarily have to show all the how. In some projects, it's very clear. This is a 3D printed thing, and the difference is that this is 3D printed and the conventional, the available one is not. So that should be in the statement. But it's tricky when sometimes it can overcomplicate it. That's what I mean. So it would be nice to read like different versions of your statements to see which one is clear for some audiences and which one is better for if you're talking to Fab Lab people, for example.
Yes, I agree. It depends on the people you're talking to. So yeah, I can write several versions and then we can choose the more effective one.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your feedback.
I don't know who's next.
You're missing still?
So we are missing Richards and also Andrews, but I think Richard said he will bring it in afterwards because he joined late. So Andrew, do you want to share your vision? Sorry.
Your vision.
Vision statement.
I'm actually not understanding this vision statement very well. Otherwise, I'm even confused because it's my first time to attend this kind of meeting. My first introduction was with a mentor from Kenya called Solomon Tash, but he never briefed me about this vision kind of something. Maybe someone should
that's okay, Andrew. Yeah, it's one sentence to explain what your project is about.
And you can read everything up in the curriculum. Please just have a look at the emails we send you on Mondays, where you will find all the resources. And that's where we also described it in a more detailed way. But for now, it's fine. Well, you should work on it in your time, and you can work on it on your time. So you can maybe do this after the call. All right?
Then I'll leave online.
All right.
Okay, let me share our presentation again.
Thank you very much for everybody who shared their vision statement. Thanks.
And you can also use the forum to get feedback on this. If you want to share your vision statement and check if other people understand, other people in the forum, in the Gosh community understand what you're talking about, that also could be useful.
And maybe this is also a good place to get also other people's interested in your project. So you can ask for feedback and thereby, well, also attract maybe contributors. But we will talk about attracting contributors at a later stage as well.
Yeah. So moving on.
I have a question.
Sorry, yeah.
I have some question.
Yeah.
The project I was working on, I never had a proper documentation. So with them, I'm improving the documentation on GitHub. Would it be possible for me to also share the link in this platform?
Absolutely.
Of
I mean,
course.
you can share the link in as many places as you'd like. You can share it here and also on the Gosh forum, right? This would be wonderful
Okay.
because then more people can see your project, and then hopefully attract contributors and suggestions and feedback.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So moving on, we are now going to have another breakout room session where we want you guys to informally chat about your mentorship meetings if you had them already and how that went, what worked well, what didn't work so well, what kind of expectations you had, if there is anything you would like to change moving forward. And what we're going to do when you come back is we're going to have the recording off, and then you can freely share how this was with us, and then if you want to, of course. And then the only thing we ask is that if you do have something that you would like to change, just really let us know, because it's better to do that now, earlier in the program than later. And so this will be after you come back from the breakout rooms, a complete safe space to share these first impressions that you had with your mentors meetings, okay? So I'm gonna open up the rooms unless anybody has anything else to add before we do that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can I share my?
So, your vision statement. I'm sorry, did we skip you, Richard?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
yeah, you can go ahead, Richard.
I'm so sorry.
All right. So I'm working on a automatic water dispenser, actually an Arduino drive-in water dispenser, and it will be used in refugee camps. So specifically in schools.
Okay.
Richard, that is I love the start. I think it was very concrete. I'm only missing the last turn, let's say. So I think when you sent us your project, you were very clear that this is a device for water dispenser without touching, right?
Yeah, sure.
So what is the problem you are trying to solve?
Okay. You know, I got a little bit confused because I thought it has to be just very brief and short. But okay, if it's okay for me to talk, it's fine. So you know, the whole idea came out when the COVID-19 came out. So people were not allowed to gather in one place, or they need not to touch something. So I thought of why not build this using the local tanks that we have in the communities. Maybe we install some microcontrollers and then with a touchpad or a PIR sensor. So this is actually what I'm trying to solve.
Yeah, does anyone want to say, Alex, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I think the point Julieta wanted to make is that, I mean, expressing like this important part that it's without touching, like touchless is basically just a word. And it's important that this might be in your one sentence vision statement, right? You don't have to explain the whole thing, like, but it's important that, for example, this like special feature, which is important for what you do, because it's an integral part, is in the vision statement.
Okay.
But I'd suggest that you can always send your vision statement to us or post it in the forum, which is actually the better place for it to go. And so you have some time to work on it. And yeah, we can.
And that is the difficult part about the statement. It's a lot of information that we need to condense in one sentence. But that was a great start, from my opinion.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you.
So I'm going to open the rooms and we're going to move on to the mentorship meeting review in the rooms, okay?
I copied the questions into the doc, so you have them there, you will see them there, and you can discuss about them.
Yeah.
This meeting is being
Yes, this meeting is being recorded. Let me share my screen again. I'm sorry, just a second.
Hope you had some good conversations there about mentorship.
Yeah, so Welcome back, everyone. So we're gonna give you, I said we were not gonna record and I'm recording, right? Sorry, let me stop the recording. Just a second. So that we can talk about next steps and get you ready for this, for the rest of this week and the coming weeks. And so, as you know, next week we do not have a cohort call. So you have a call with your mentor, so make sure you have scheduled that, please, so that you keep the interactions going. The next cohort call with your fellow mentees is on April 21st. As usual, on Monday, we're gonna send you an outline of the next module, which is 4, building open projects. And again, as usual, you can always contact us really with anything, questions, doubts, suggestions, criticism, either at ohwmakers@gmail.com or at Gosh Forum. Can be an open message, or it can be a direct message to either one of us, or either me, Alex, or Julieta, and we'll make sure that we respond timely and make sure that whatever needs to be addressed will be addressed. Okay.
One thing that I would like to mention before we finish is that in the notes, if you go down, you will see that there is an extra exercise that we didn't manage to do today about how to turn your vision statement into the front page, the README, the website for your project, the message that introduces your project to the world. The idea of that exercise was discussing the platforms that you can use and discussing how to tailor the message. But the important thing that I want to say is that there are a couple of links there to 4 different projects that we consider have very, very good front pages. They are very, very good at introducing what they do, either in a website or a README, GitHub, whatever, different platforms, but they're very clear. So we recommend you to take a look at that and try to maybe give us feedback in the forum or let us know what you think about that by email.
The first is very poor. I would suggest maybe if we meet on a platform like this, and maybe my interest is on someone's project. I think an exchange of contacts such that we keep talking with such a person will be better and will yield better results rather than waiting for the particular date scheduled to meet online.
Yeah, I think the best thing you can do, Andrew, again, is to just create a topic in the forum so people can reply to you anytime. You don't have to wait for another call, let's say. Okay, I think we need to close for today because people have other meetings and life goes on. But thank you all for joining. I think the discussions were really, really interesting, but I hope this was useful for you. And what we can do, I was thinking, this is for Alex and Andrea, I can create a thread in the forum for everyone to share their vision statements, and we can leave comments to each other there. That would be an easy way to do it. Okay? And thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon, evening, morning, according to where you are. And see you next call.
See you.
See you. Thanks.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.